So I'm Daniël van Gils. I'm the creative technology at Steam. And I talked to my creative director and he says everything is content. So I brought with me a 360 camera. So we're gonna make some pictures so we get some really nice content. So I'm gonna give that a try. So Jamie, do you want to be my assistant? So, so big applause for Jamie, my assistant. Yeah. So I give you this nice selfie stick.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna program it that it takes an interval 5 seconds of pictures. So you walk back and forward, take some pictures, wave at the camera, and then I'll put those 360 pictures tonight.
Which side am I in?
It doesn't matter. It's 360, so it doesn't matter where you look. So don't. So wait.
What do I do? I walk around?
Yeah, you walk. Yeah, we'll see what's going on. Wait. I'm gonna give the interval. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, just to walk around.
Yes. And then you do I have to walk slowly like a robot?
Yeah. And then let everybody wave to the camera. Yeah. Yeah. So you hear make pictures, right? Yeah. So come forward, Jamie. Yeah. Yeah. So we make some content now. So fine. Yeah. So we have that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So wait, I'm gonna. Oh. So make some. Give it to me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have that out of the way. So, well. So when I talk to people and I say I work at Steam, I got a lot of questions. So what is Steam? So the first question I get is, when is Half-Life 3 coming out? Who's a gamer? Yeah. So when I came in, I said, yeah, I work at Steam. Steam, so how's that game coming? So so Portal 3, I don't know when that comes out. So Steam, well, we're actually an employer branding agency here in Amsterdam. We already exist for 22 years. So we work for clients like the National Police, Ministry of Defense, stuff like that. So you see all the clients. So I showed some work a little bit. So so if you go to the cinema this week or next week, or if you watch television, probably you don't watch television anymore, but if you watch television, you see this commercial. So I hope the sound is on. So let's watch.
Werken bij Defensie. Je moet het maar kunnen. Ontdek wat jij kunt betekenen voor vrede en veiligheid. Kijk voor vacatures en opleidingsmogelijkheden op werkenbijdefensie.nl.
So at Steam we are actually in charge of, helping people, hiring people. So we're not hiring, but big companies are really difficult to, for instance, hire IT people. So we help them. For instance, today I'm going to talk about the Docker workflow from one of the projects we did for the National Police called Crime Diggers. So crimediggers.nl, you can play that game. I will explain later on how the game works and how we use Docker in that project. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about dev like a madman and use Docker in production, which is scary. I mean, 2 years ago when Docker came up, and before that I tried to use Linux containers. If you ever try that, it's, I don't know. I feel like this wrestler, throwing watermelons at his face on how do I get this working, and it's really cool, but what do we have to do with it and stuff like that. So also if you are in working for an online advertisement company. You have this creative director, he has a great idea, says, Daniel, I have this great idea for this campaign. We need to use WhatsApp and we use that API and we have to combine that to this really cool creative project. And then I was like, oh yeah, so we need some Python there, and we need some Ruby, and we need, so I always have to mix, match technology and find ways to get things working. So then I realized that Docker is actually part of the solution. So what we want is that I want to raise the anchor. I want to stop the drag, because sometimes last week they came to our workplace and they said, well, we have this campaign for the police and we need this thing done by the next week. Can we, you know, make a little prototype, put it online and make it work for this campaign? And well, if you work for big companies, you know that sometimes deploying software in an enterprise environment takes a little bit of time. And so we decided, well, how can we, you know, help the big companies recruit people and then use our own technology. So one of the things I want to, you know, remove in my workflow was this. I mean, I think a lot of people are using technology like this. Oh yeah, so before I go further into detail, I'm more kind of a Ruby guy. So if you, so maybe if I say RSpec, which is the test-driven development framework for Ruby, then you can also substitute that with Java or Scala, which program language you are using. But most of the time, when you are, you know, deploying on servers, maybe you Capistrano, Ansible, Vagrant, Chef, all that stuff. But you know, we are really small. We are 3 people in the company, so I want to get rid of all that shit. So get rid of that. Are people using file transfer protocol to upload to production servers? Who is using that?
10 years ago.
So I'm last meetup at a Ruby meetup, I asked the same question and people raised their hands. So I took my shotgun and they are dead. So we don't want it. So what we want, and I'm from a computer science background already, in the business for 20 years, and so we want clean and quality code and start shipping continuously. That's what everybody's talking about. You know, we want modern craftsmanship. We want, you know, matrices. We want tests. We want integration tests. We want it all automated. We want, well, basically, we want containers, grades. We want Docker Compose. We want the same environment on our laptop and on the production environment. And when you look around in all the open source projects, you want to sorry, I'm going too fast. Mix, match, tag. And if you look at this picture, you see all this nice fruit hanging around, and you want to combine that in your production. Oh, well, that is from an advertising point of view. I can imagine if you are building one product, you probably don't want to match all the technology which is available, but we want that. And we want Docker in production. Who's using Docker in production? So that's not, you know, yeah, bol.com, okay, a couple of people. So this beginning of this year, I had this bold saying, I said, okay, we're using Docker for a half year now. I want to use this in a project. I want to use Docker in production. So if you want to use Docker in production, we want easy development flow. So we want write once, run everywhere. Sounds familiar? 20 years ago, Java, the big promise, write once, run everywhere. Well, okay, and of course, write once, run, and test everywhere. So that is what we want. We want some networking, we want service discovery, we want automatic stuff. I want, if I have a Docker file and I build a Docker image, I want to do that automatically somewhere in the cloud, and then, you know, put it on my server, and then 0 downtime, switch, and then automatically everything is up and running. I want orchestration. I want to move around the services on my cluster. I want auto scaling. I want data management, monitoring, and of course, we work for the police and the Ministry of Defense, so we want some security. And well, I have a lot of great stories about crime diggers when hackers called me up and said, well, yeah, I'm using crime diggers and I can't access crime diggers. I said, well, so how are you, you know, access crime diggers? Yeah, I'm using this Tor network, and I don't want to. I want to you play it anonymously. And I said, well, but yesterday I saw this big, SQL injection things going on my server and stuff like that. So there was all this hackers galore going on with CrimeDigs, which was, we already knew that was going to happen, because if you make something to recruit digital specialists fighting cybercrime, you probably, get some black hackers going to your cluster. And so we had a 3-day pen testing also on this, on the Docker system. And of course, I'm a developer. I'm also an operation guy, so I want to be in control. I mean, I like all those platform as a service stuff, but you actually don't know what's going on. I have this nice app, I put it somewhere in some platform thing, and you don't know which servers are running, and so I want a little bit of control. Now, if you look at the Docker ecosystem, which is changing, every day. I saw a sheet by Jamie. I saw that you also released a new Docker system. So this is for 1 week ago. Maybe it's already changed. So that's me on the left side. I'm like, what the hell? What should I use when I want to use Docker? Oh, this sheet, I will put it on, the Meetup site, so you can take a look at it. So we want that service discovery, orchestration, stuff like that. So we already using Cloud 66 for Ruby on Rails deployment, and they came up. A year ago, I talked to them. So what are you going to do with Docker? So they are released the beginning of this year the whole Docker infrastructure on their system. So Cloud 66 is developed as a service, so you can run it on your own cloud, on your local machines, and stuff like that. Whew. Am I going too fast? No. So if you're like, oh, what he's talking about, just raise hands, shout. So this is me. I don't know, is this in the code of conduct, this sexy picture? But so now I can relax. I have this system of Cloud 66 which does all those things, and I feel like a hero again. So I can use my Ruby applications, I can use MongoDB, they use cluster file system, so I can sync my content management systems and stuff like that. So, CrimeDiggers. So on GitHub I put our Dork workflow. So if you are interested in how we do Docker workflow and bring it to the cloud and stuff like that, come talk to me afterwards. So I'll be around if you have questions. So I'm gonna now show what CrimeDiggers is about and how that workflow fits in that system. So first I start with a little trailer about CrimeDiggers.
Niets is wat het lijkt. Kijk voorbij de oppervlakte. Volg het spoor naar het criminele netwerk. Graaf dieper, kijk verder, denk slimmer. CrimeDiggers. Maak er politiewerk van.
So you hear that really weird sound in the end. So we're an advertisement company, so we're talking about, making an experience for digital forensic experts already in the advertisement, in the banners, in the radio commercial. There were like audio. You can, over here you see the audio spectrum. You find the paste bin. You find all clues doing that CrimeDiggers experience. So if you want to, I'll warn you, if you go to CrimeDiggers and you're going to play the experience. So if you are a digital forensics expert, it takes you about 3-4 hours to complete the experience. I know that people are playing this for like maybe 20 hours. It's quite difficult. So I would say give it a try. So when we built it, so what I already talked about, we want modern craftsmanship. So we want to use Git, we want to use continuous integration, we want to use, code conventions, stuff like that. So we want to build an awesome app. And so we use Cloud 66 to deploy it because we don't want to care about, well, it's boring stuff, provisioning your service, but it's important. And so I know how to provision the service, but I'm really happy that this service is taking that away from me. So we're deploying it on DigitalOcean, can be LeaseWeb, for instance, so doesn't matter. If LeaseWeb, if I start up a virtual private server at LeaseWeb and I give them SSH access, I can deploy my cluster on their infrastructure, so it doesn't matter. And I want to sleep at night, so we put Cloudflare in front of that, so so we can, when the hackers come, so we have a little bit of, relaxation there. So we built some containers. So we have the Experience API. So it's API first. So we built the API first, which includes all the challenges, all the content, all the rules. So we have a content management system which is built in Ruby. We got static web pages, so that scales easily. We got a WhatsApp Python running around, so you can text some bot we're using into the chat API in Ruby. And also we implement some hidden services using Tor. In the experience you also go to the dark web and you find all these things you have to solve. All right? So you see a lot of technology going on there. So for me, I was so happy that I could use Docker in production because now I have one code base where the whole application is managed by. One thing I want to talk about is the minimal Docker continuous integration. That's a proof of concept I did 2 weeks ago. You can look it up. It's a continuous integration server based on Docker. I wrote it in 1 day. What it does, it takes, so that's how we work. We have a Docker Compose file on a local system so we can run up the whole infrastructure. With Git flow, we put it to Git and it has a Docker Compose test bin YAML and that's containing a test setup, so it mimics the Docker cluster. A push hook to our continuous integration server and then it's Git checkouts, build the containers and run tests against those containers in the same infrastructure you're using on your locally. And then I get a deploy hook to Cloud66, which pulls the same code from GitHub, and then we get a zero downtime deployment because Cloud66 is also doing some health checks on the old containers and the new containers, and when the new containers are hot, then it will, switch it, and then your whole thing is live. So this is what it looks like. So the Docker Amsterdam, that's in the Docker workflow. You find this project, you can do Docker Compose up and then the whole system runs, or you can do Docker Compose run test and then the whole test suite is running. So I don't know if you can see it, but I wanted to do a live demo, but sometimes live demos fail, so I make a little movie. So hope it's, so over here I run the static web pages and already starting all the MongoDB and the API and the CMS. And then on the other one, I can run the test. Yeah. So it runs the tests. And so it's using RSpec on my API and it runs all the integration tests there with Cucumber. People familiar with Cucumber? 1, 2. So it makes screenshots, so it runs in a headless web browser and tests all this stuff. And also a simple CMS is running over there, so I can add a quote. So yeah, so hello world, of course, and then I'll go to the other service, which is the API, and over there is my web page. Okay, it takes some time because it recompiles all my CoffeeScript and things like that. And in the background, the tests are polling my code base. When I'm changing my code, Guard is picking up the changes and runs those tests continuously in my container. So when I'm developing on my local machine, I can see if I break my specifications or my integration tests. And when it's green, I can push it to Git, and then the continuous integration system is picking it up and then says to Cloud66, go ahead, deploy that stuff. Right. So that's the end of the talk. Dev like a madman. Easy does it. So thank you.
Questions? Questions? Anybody got any questions? No questions.
So, wow.
That's how good your talk was.
Maybe.
The Cloud 66 thing, is that a paid thing or is it like?
It's a paid thing, yeah.
That's paid.
Yeah. It's free for all your development stacks, but if you go in production, it's, I believe, $9 for one server. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just wondering why you would choose that like above something like a rancher thingy or like a orchestration service.
yeah, because the Cloud 66 does everything for me. It does all the provisioning, all the networking. So it uses Weave at the lower networking. So you got all the private. You can you can also run your application on different cloud providers. So it manages all. So you can say, well, run it on DigitalOcean, run it on LeaseWeb, run it on AWS, and then all merged together in one private network. And that's, I mean, I have no idea how to do that myself, so I'm really happy that you can. And also you can have failover groups and stuff like that. So it's really, I think one of the providers. I mean, there's a lot of new companies coming with all this kind of systems, but I was really using this for Ruby on Rails and was really happy that they come up with this. For me as a small company, now I can, play big, especially when you have those advertisement campaigns, which has, with Crime Diggers, it goes on radio, you have a lot of traffic, so I want to scale, I want to have control and then scale back, so.
Yeah, because it's always fascinating to me that if you have people using different ways of, deploying their Docker stuff in production, or
Yeah.
even in dev.
Yeah.
This is a way of doing
Oh,
it.
sure. Yeah.
CodeShip, I think, or something is also doing containers now.
Yeah, CodeShip is a continuous integration
But they
service.
you can also utilize them to run
Yeah.
in production.
Yeah, so they use it a couple of weeks ago they announced it. I saw that. Yeah.
And some people just use, only Docker machine
Yeah.
and Weave themselves or
Yeah.
or any of the standard tool sets that are out there and just
Yeah.
combine it to make their own platform.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have the time and the knowledge to get a full Docker cluster thing setting up in a data center. So I'm really happy that they can provide me that service. Yeah.
More questions? No, then I think another big round of applause for Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you.